This is the Retirement Solution Podcast with financial advisor Jon Hicks, founder of J. Hagan Capital.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Jon to ask for his ideas on ways to better prepare for your financial future. RetirementSolutionRadio.com is where you can start your own conversation with Jon and his team at J. Hagan Capital. We also have links posted in the show notes, or again, find us at RetirementSolutionRadio.com. So we have talked before plenty of times about the TV show Shark Tank.
Oh, yes.
And how much we love it. Have you ever bought any of the Shark Tank items, though? I was trying to think if I've ever bought a Shark Tank item.
I mean, obviously, you can't buy it from the show. It's not like an infomercial.
No. After it
like
gets
the
Shark
Ron
Tank
Popeil Showtime rotisserie oven.
Right.
No, I remember thinking, I was like, man, why does this seem familiar? And then I look, and of course, they almost always have that little sticker on the packaging as seen on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
La, 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 la.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's like the lipstick case that like wipes itself off. Like my wife got one of those. She goes, I think I saw this on Shark Tank. I'm like, does that mean the lipstick is worth the $72 that you're paying for it? You tell me. I don't know.
How dare you?
I mean, it is a lovely shade, but I mean, really, how much can that really do? No, but there are a handful of things. And right now, off the top of my head, I cannot think of a singular one of them.
The one I can think of right away is the one that the biggest regret that they didn't take was the Ring doorbell.
Oh, yeah.
That was on the show, and they all passed on it.
Oh, no, see, I have, in the 3 houses I've owned in the however many 20 years that there's been Shark Tank on, 3 of my houses have had Ring doorbells.
That's right. I mean,
I love them.
I love them, too.
I think they're fabulous.
Like every house in America has got a Ring doorbell on it, especially in the Amazon culture we live in, and you got to for security.
And all of the porch pirates.
Yeah.
That's right.
Boy, howdy. All right, so speaking of Shark Tank.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know how much we need to, I mean, it's the question, right? It is the golden question. How much do I need to retire? When you Google it, you're going to get as many opinions as your little heart's desire, and they're going to be all over the map. So Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary decided to throw his opinion into the pot and had this to say on his own podcast.
You have to get to a place where you have $5 million in the bank, because you can survive the rest of your life no matter what happens, and your family. You can take care of a lot of people making 6 or 7% of $5 million. When you make that, you have to set that aside and you don't risk it. Then after that, you can start to take risk capital and put it to work.
Oh my gosh. See how the bubble that people that live in New York think you have to have.
Right.
I mean, this is almost perfect. So basically, Heather, I can tell you exactly how to retire.
Okay.
Save $5 million. Because, I mean, how does that not
simple,
solve it?
Jon. It's so simple. Like, all you got to do is save $5 million, everybody. Get it together to stop being such a mess.
Doesn't that solve everyone's problems?
Right.
Here's how you solve all your problems. Have $5 million.
Get $5 million in the bank and you'll be set. It's like, yes, ideally.
Oh my gosh.
However, for most of us,
it doesn't work that way. That's not how things work. It's wonderful if we've been that fortunate or blessed and we've worked our butts off, but that's not how it works out for most of us.
No.
But so I was thinking about this because what a great point. So what Mr. Wonderful was just saying right there. And I remember Kevin O'Leary, we were trying to think about this before the show. Did he give himself the moniker of Mr. Wonderful?
You're not allowed to give yourself a nickname, much less one like Mr. Wonderful.
Or is that one of those things that, Mark Cuban looks over and is like, who do you think you are, Mr. Wonderful? And he's like, yes, I do resemble that remark. I'm going to call myself that. Anyway, so if you use the math of Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, $5 million, and he said, that you can earn 6% a year off of. That's $300,000 a year of income, right? Because he said that you don't want to risk that $5 million. You don't need to risk it. You just get 6% on it. Now let's do that math right there real quick, right?
Right.
So
how in the world?
So before, like 2 years ago, right? Before the interest rates went through the roof, like now, 2 years ago, when the banks were paying 1%, how do you not risk any money and get 6% 2 years ago? See,
where are you going to get it outside of the market?
Oh my gosh. So, it's great that he knows how to do Shark Tank stuff, because being financial advisor, he's obviously pretty poor at, right? That's the truth. No, but what I would say is most of us, whether we do have $5 million or not, no matter, there are so many different strategies to create an income. And if we really break down what retirement is, there's all kinds of books, there's all kinds of articles written every minute of every day. And why does everyone write this stuff? Because believe it or not, guys, 11,600 people turn 65 years old in the United States every single day.
Yep.
Right now. And this is going to happen for the next 8 years.
Yep.
There are so many people that are right there knocking on the door and they're trying to get retired and they're trying to figure out all these things, it really comes down to one simple thing. Where's the income coming from?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So I'm going to use some real numbers that aren't based on having $5 million, right? Let's just be real. So what I did is I've broken this down a few different ways.
Okay.
Let's assume that you are getting close to retirement, Heather, and you've saved $450,000. $450,000. That is not a small amount of money. I mean, we're close to $500,000 of blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice to save the money so that you can have that to try to live off of, right?
Yep.
If you were to buy, just like every guru says, buy stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, they say that in that kind of portfolio, you could pull 4% a year. So let me do the math.
Okay.
On $450,000, the gurus say that you could pull out $18,000 a year, which is $1,500 a month to live off of on $450,000 portfolio. I don't know why that kind of makes me want to cry a little bit inside. It seems like, my gosh, you've almost got $500,000
and you're only getting $1,500
a
most
month.
people's mortgage. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, man, that's not good. But here's the secondary part to that.
Okay,
there are other strategies that you could use that still have some stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, but they're mathematically created to produce $31,000 to $36,000 of annual income without risking the principal.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Is one right versus the other? No, but guys, that's nearly twice as much income. Twice as much income if you wanted to live in retirement.
Yeah.
So this is on that example. You do the same thing with $1 million. Would you rather live off $40,000 a year or $75,000 to $80,000 a year? These are all choices, right?
Yeah.
But this is why I always say, hey, there's more than one way to skin the cat. When you're looking at retirement, I really want everyone to visualize, what do they really want to do?
Okay.
Because if you really ask anyone who's really consciously thought about it and they're really thinking about retiring soon, here's what they typically say. John, I want to make sure I don't run out of money. I want to live and do the things that I want to do. And frankly, I wouldn't mind having some to give to the kids and grandkids. Okay. That's what almost everyone says.
Yep.
But the first thing that they don't prioritize, they talk about running out of money and they talk about giving something. They never think about, here's the amount of income that I want to spend each and every month for the rest of my life. Do you know why they don't think about it like that?
Tell me.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's so hard to visualize exactly the amount of money that you're going to need. Because here's what they do. But John, what about taxes? John, what about inflation? John, what if the hot water heater blows up the same time that we need 4 new tires on both cars?
Yeah.
All these things, and their head gets all out of equilibrium. But here's the truth of why it's so hard. Because most people have a tough time visualizing. In the first 3 to 5 years that you retire, you might spend more money in retirement than you actually made working that last year. Whoa, hold on. I see it every day in my office because here's the reason I want them to. I want my clients to front load their retirement. Because why? Because I want them to celebrate and enjoy finally punching that time clock for the last time. Yeah. I want them to celebrate and enjoy what? The fact that they're the youngest and the healthiest that they're probably going to be throughout all of their retirement. And I don't want them to have any regrets. So we purposefully build mathematical models to do what? To give them all of the income that they think they could potentially even consider using for those first 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And in doing that, what happens, we end up having such a good time doing all those things, giving and sharing those opportunities with our friends and families and kids and grandkids. Rent out the big lake house. Maybe you don't want to own it. Rent out the big lake house for a month during the summer. Because think about it. How often can your entire family get together all in the same exact weekend? It's hard.
Right.
But if you rented the place for 3 weeks or a month, you can have different parts of your...
People coming in and out, yeah.
That's exactly it. And you get to create and cherish those memories longer. See, guys, to me, the reason it's so hard to make these decisions about how much you're going to need is because that's not how our life works. Some months we got to pay taxes.
Right.
Some months we got to pay property taxes. Some months we really want to set aside more money for vacation. Some months one of the kids needs some help. We don't know how it's going to work. But if you have your retirement pre-planned, which is exactly what we want people to do. We want you to plan all of those lavish things you want to do, and we want to bake them into the plan. In doing that, you get very granular about what it is you want to accomplish. Because the best thing that I can hear from our clients is when they say, after 3 or 4 years of retirement, John, we went to Egypt. We rented that lake house you talked about. We put extra money away from our grandkids. We bought those new cars you were talking about. And frankly, my man, there's not much more money we really feel like we need to spend. That is an awesome thing to hear.
Yeah.
Not because they don't have more money, but because they have done all the things that they had always hoped they'd do. And they're at a point, the word isn't content.
Yeah.
But the word is the concept is they checked off those bucket list items.
Got it. Yeah.
That is a properly structured plan. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you're right. It does not work where we need exactly $3,241.19 each month, adjusted for inflation, taking care of taxes. That's not how it works. That's a bean counter version, but that's not the emotion. That's not the feel. That's not how we live our lives. So just remember, numbers are numbers. It's what we do, the life that we live, where those numbers become important. Everyone needs to have a properly written income plan for retirement.
Yeah.
Because we want to dictate, hey, let's do these things in the front end. Why? We're the youngest and the healthiest. And after that point in time, if there's a tremendous amount left over, great, we can do more stuff. Or maybe we do what I love to talk about with my clients, do your giving while you're living. You do those gifts to charity. You do those gifts to kids and grandkids, and you don't worry about just being gone one day and they get a big old pile of sweaty money. That's not how anyone wants to be remembered. But having those opportunities to share that time with them, to share those dollars with them, probably when they need it more, that is a much better way to do things. If you do not have a proper income plan or a tax plan or a wealth transfer plan, guys, reach out to my team. Let them work through these opportunities with you to let you see all of that blood, sweat, and tears that you've put in, what it can really accomplish for you. When you get that down, I promise you, you're going to have a much more comfortable outlook on your entire retirement process.
Visit us, retirementsolutionradio.com. We also have links posted in the show notes, or again, go to retirementsolutionradio.com.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with Jon Hicks. Begin the conversation about your savings plan with Jon and the team at J. Hagan Capital by visiting retirementsolutionradio.com. Be sure to listen to Jon's radio show, The Retirement Solution, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. on News Radio 840 WHAS.
J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Hagan Capital Inc. is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. It does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Jonathan Hicks, insurance license number 548962.